Great, so now that we know what can we create with Moviestorm, let's going to start with our first task. The first task is we're going to create our own video blog. To do that, we're going to open Moviestorm, and in the following options we are going to click on New Movie. So once that we like a new movie, we have different options that we can actually choose for our movie. So we can start from like an empty movie or create one of these starter movies. For our first task, we're gonna select the video blog starter. So I would like it to do that. Great. So once that loads, it's gonna take you to the main screen of Moviestorm. Okay. So as you can see on the top of your screen, you're gonna have 7 icons that represent kind of like the 7 different steps that we need to do in order to create and finalize a movie. So the first one is the workshop view. So the workshop view is the area where you guys are going to be working on your set. A set basically means like the location where your film is going to be filmed. Okay, so one of the nicest things with Moviestorm is you can basically add any props that you want to your set. Okay, so as you can see, you can, if you click on the guitar, you can choose the different types of guitar. You can change the type of sofa. You can add any kind of object that you would like to have on your set. Okay, you can also import objects from any other software, but we will do that later on. Okay, one of the things that you have to understand is when you import any object is that some of the objects you can actually change the color. Even sometimes you can change, for example, if a lamp actually gives more light, or the color of the light, the color of the shadow that it will create. You can add a green screen on the back where you can actually have a picture to make it more like a realistic set. You can change the color of the walls, the ceilings. So basically you can recreate whatever you want. Okay, you can add cars. So we will be basically learning how to add different objects to a set later on. Okay, so workshop view is basically where you're going to recreate your set. The second part is the dressing room view. The dressing room view basically is where you are going to create all the different characters that you're going to be using on your movies. As you can see, you can choose whether it's a male, a female, or different uniforms that the person can have. You can customize them. You can change the color, change the size. You can change the image. Even sometimes t-shirts, you can add a picture to the t-shirt. So kind of like making us customize as you want. You can also save your characters that you can use them later on. Okay, so in here is when you're gonna basically spend a lot of time recreating and creating all the characters that you want. It's you can get pretty detailed on it. You can actually change all the facial expressions, all the characteristics, from the color of the skin to how big their eyes are, like eyebrows, the position of the eyes, the mouth, the chin. So you can spend quite like a long time just doing that. Okay, so spend some time just trying to basically create your own image. Okay, let's see if you can actually recreate yourself as you're working. Okay, so you can have basically like a character that is you. Great, so as you can see right now I can change everything that I want on my character. Okay, so spend some time just playing with it, try to recreate your own character, okay? And then once that you select one, we're gonna move to the next step, okay? And once that you finish with your character, what you can do is actually you can save it under the save stock button on the bottom of your screen. If you do that, you can actually access any character that you have created for later movies, okay? So I created something that it kind of like represents myself, okay? And then I saved it as a Mr. J, and I'm gonna use that one for our video blog. So I would like you to do the same, okay? Great, so now that I chose myself that you are a Mr. J, so let's gonna move to the third step on creating a movie, which is the director's view. So director's view basically is when you are going to tell the character what to do, okay? So the bar on the bottom is basically the one that's going to represent and the one that is going to tell you all the different steps that you are doing. So as you can see, I'm moving the bar over the timeline, and there's some options and some instructions that they being like predetermined for this character. For example, walk into the room, look at the window, look at the chair, and then sit down and sit down forward. Okay, so one of the things that you can do is you can always move the timeline back and forth to make sure that all your characters are actually working smooth. Okay, sometimes you're gonna see that some movies in Moviestorm, like the character will actually go through a desk. Okay, characters don't know that you can go through a desk. Okay, so you have to make sure that that all the movements are smooth. Okay, as you can see, you can interact with any object, okay, or any person. So for example, like if the person is standing by a chair, one of the actions it will be, hey, sit down. Once they sit down, one of the actions it can be to change the posture or to stand up. Okay, so as you can see, it's a very straightforward software. So the only thing that you might have to do is once that you choose an object, choose play around and see how can you interact with this object. Okay, so I'm gonna let you like a little bit for you guys to play around and let's see how good you are with trying just to make like your character walk and sit down and move forward. Maybe you can ask him or her to pick up the guitar. Okay, let's see what you guys can come with. One of the tips that I will give you is as while you're working, you can always zoom in or zoom out into the set. Like this, you know more or less, and you can see closely what you guys are doing. Also, as you can see, there's no walls. Even that the walls appear on the works of view when you create them. When we are directing, those walls kind of like disappear in order for us to have like to be easier for us to work. Okay, so as you can see, my actor in here, Mr. J, has a couple of things active. Okay, you can actually now make him to use a prop. So for example, a prop can be, hey, grab a phone or like a tablet or like a coffee mug. Okay, so a toothbrush. So all those things, all those objects, then you can now also interact with them. Okay, so for example, you can say, hey, pick up your phone and play as you're making a phone call, or a guitar and try to play some music. Okay, one of the things that I like also is you can talk into stand up or to hide basically is if you want someone to disappear. And say, that is kind of like one of the nicest thing of this software. It's basically now you can actually type what you want Mr. J to say, and it will automatically recreate a the voice, or you can record your own voice with the message that you want to say. Okay, so one of the things that you can also do is you can adjust the audio movement. You can record the voice directly, as I said, and even change the lip movement of your character. I would recommend for you guys to record the voice separately using GarageBand and then just basically add it at the end. Okay, so you can see right now everything is ready to start recording. Okay, so we know exactly what the character is doing. Now we're going to talk about the different camera views. Okay,